they want to legalize marijuana in Colorado. Coloradans get it. 6 years ago, citizens of Denver voted to decriminalize marijuana on a campaign based on marijuana being safer than alcohol. Growing up in New Mexico as a neighbor to Colorado, I've always been struck by the fact that Colorado, on a per capita basis, has more marijuana smokers than any other state. And how is it going to work that Colorado is going to change the world by voting marijuana legal when everybody in the country gets on an airplane to go to Denver for the weekend to chill out? That's how this is going to work out. How would it have worked if we would have had a president of the United States after 9/11 that had no aversion to vetoing legislation? I would have vetoed the Patriot Act. There would be no Department of Homeland Security, unbelievably redundant. There would be no TSA. I would leave airport security to the airlines, to the airports, to the states and the municipalities, but not the federal government. How would it have worked to have a president with no aversion to vetoing legislation when it came to the National Defense Authorization Act? I would have vetoed the National Defense Authorization Act. The National Defense Authorization Act, allowing for you and I as U.S. citizens to be arrested and detained without being charged. Isn't this why we fought wars in this country, is to prevent that from happening? I think this country is going to suffer a monetary collapse as a result of printing money, borrowing money to the tune of 43 cents out of every dollar that we're spending. The only way that we avert this, and it's not a fail-safe, but square one is balancing the federal budget now. So I'm the only candidate running for President of the United States that is promising to deliver a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. And that means taking on the entitlements. That means taking on Medicare, Medicaid, military spending. 2 weeks ago, we have a debate with Obama and Romney, and they're arguing over who's going to spend more money on Medicare, when Medicare is a system that you and I put $30,000 into, and we receive a $100,000 benefit. Whatever we put into Medicare, we're receiving 3 times the benefit as opposed to what we're paying in. This is absolutely unsustainable, and the raging debate and discussion that should go on in this country is over how we cut these programs by 43% and still provide a safety net for those, a health care safety net for those over 65 and those that are poor. But that's the discussion, that's the debate that's not taking place right now. The debate that's not taking place right now is cutting the military by 43%. Cutting the military by 43% takes us back to 2003 spending levels. And let me start with a premise. The premise is we need and have an obligation to provide ourselves with a strong national defense. But defense is the operative word, not offense and not nation building. And then they talk about jobs and how to create jobs in this country. Well, here's how you make that happen. You eliminate income tax, you eliminate corporate tax, you abolish the IRS, and you replace all of it with one federal consumption tax. In this case, I'm embracing the fair tax. It ends up being cost neutral because you're going to bleed out all existing federal non-transparent tax out of goods and services. It's the answer when it comes to our exports, making our exports 23% more competitive. It's the answer when it comes to jobs. If in a zero corporate tax rate environment, the private sector doesn't create tens of millions of jobs, then nothing we do can create any jobs whatsoever. Manufacturing jobs will flock back to the United States given a zero corporate tax rate environment. We need strong U.S. dollar policy, not weak U.S. dollar policy. So I'm the only candidate running for president that would abolish the Federal Reserve if Congress would stir up that piece of legislation. And the Federal Reserve, what an inside game. Treasury prints money, they give it to the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve gives the money to the banks at 0%. Do the banks give it to you or I? No. They buy up treasuries in a closed loop, making profits off of you and I without taking any risk whatsoever. How come this isn't a game that we can all take part in it? This is the tip of the spear when it comes to crony capitalism in the United States. Adopting the fair tax would issue pink slips to half of Washington lobbyists because half of Washington lobbyists are there to garner loopholes. Loopholes are for sale. Both parties are selling them. Let's just get rid of the opportunity to do that. I'm the only candidate running for president of the United States that if given the opportunity, I would sign legislation that would take away legal tender laws and establish competing currencies where we might actually have commodity-based currency. Strong U.S. dollar as opposed to weak U.S. dollar. I ran 2 campaigns for governor where I did not mention my opponent in print, radio, or television. The point is, I did not run one single negative ad. Not even, here's my opponent. I think people are hungry to vote for a leader as opposed to the lesser of two evils. Listening to Obama's 82,000 negative ads last month against Romney, listening to Romney's 82,000 negative ads against Obama, the only reason I'm hearing that I should vote for Obama is that Romney is horrible. The only reason I'm hearing that I should vote for Romney is that Obama is horrible. Is that the real reason that we want to vote for somebody? Don't we want to vote for somebody that's going to get up and doggedly pursue agendas that they run on and talk about and should be in office to actually implement? So, verbal criticism of President Obama. You know what? Nothing that comes out of his mouth do I disagree with. I liken him to playing a violin. All the words are terrific. It's just that the words don't match match up with the reality in any way, shape, or form. I never believed that he was going to balance the budget. I never believed that he was going to cut federal spending, but he did say those things, and he continues to say those things. I did believe him when it came to war. I thought that our military interventions would be scaled way back, but he is as militaristic a president as we have ever had. Military interventions right now are at an absolute high. We are bankrolling the Syrian insurgents, and a quarter of the Syrian insurgents are jihadists. Did we not learn anything in Afghanistan? Nothing in Afghanistan? When it came to marriage